Whether you love or hate Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, without a doubt the world is pretty obsessed with them, and it seems like everyone is tuning in to watch their controversial new Netflix documentary. So far we've only seen half of the 6-part series, but viewers have already noticed that some things just aren't adding up. Questions have now been raised about the show's cynical editing, and certain details have come out that poke some serious holes in their story. Here are the top 10 craziest Meghan Markle Prince Harry documentary scandals. Number 10, lying about her father. In the first installment of the Tell-All series, Meghan says that she attempted to contact her father Thomas Markle multiple times in the lead up to her 2018 royal wedding, after it had emerged that he had staged paparazzi photos for money. During the documentary, messages between Thomas and Meghan were shown on screen, but Meghan claimed that his responses seemed fake and his phone had been compromised. She said, "It was really weird. You know how people text, right? My dad used a lot of emojis and a lot of ellipses and ... and this was just the opposite, and it called me Meghan." And I was like, he's never called me Meghan any day that I've lived on this planet. And I was like, that's not my dad. However, Thomas has now come out saying that it really was him who sent those texts. He said, "I wrote every word that I sent from that phone, which is still in my possession. For her to claim my phone was compromised is simply not true. I wrote that text as I lay in a hospital bed after having 2 heart attacks and having stents put in. I wasn't angry. I was in the hospital. They never once asked how I was doing. When I got their messages, I was upset. I thought I didn't deserve those messages." So if those texts were really from her father, why did Meghan make it seem like he had been hacked and someone had taken his phone? It just doesn't make any sense. Number 9, the privacy issue. There's been plenty of criticism in the wake of the Netflix series being released, and a lot of it comes down to the apparent hypocrisy surrounding Harry and Meghan's decision to leave the royal family in pursuit of a reclusive life away from it all. The series again pushes the idea of the excessive media intrusion into their lives, with multiple clips of the couple being pursued by crowds of paparazzi, and so people feel that the added publicity and attention they are getting from the documentary is completely at odds with their reason for leaving the UK and abandoning their royal duties. In fact, they've received so much backlash for this that they have now released a statement saying they never wanted privacy in the first place. It wasn't them exactly, but it was their global press secretary Ashley Hansen who released a statement on behalf of the couple saying, "Duke and Duchess have never cited privacy as the reason for stepping back. This distorted narrative was intended to trap the couple into silence." In fact, their statement announcing the decision to step back, she went on to say that they are choosing to share their story and blame the tabloid media for the negative press coverage of their documentary. But even this amount of backpedaling won't change the narrative that Harry and Meghan continue to put out there, which is that they want a simple life out of the royal spotlight. Number 8, criticizing William and Kate. One thing about the documentary that was glaringly obvious was that Harry and Meghan were using it as an opportunity to subtly diss William and Kate's marriage. In the first 3 episodes, when Harry explained his reasons for marrying Meghan, he compared her to his late mother Princess Diana and said that when it comes to choosing a partner, he was more like her than William because he made his decision from his heart rather than his head. Then, in what really sounded like a criticism of his brother, he said that in the royal family, the temptation is to marry someone who fits the mold, obviously referring to Kate Middleton. He also said that as products of divorce, both he and Meghan were determined not to make the same mistakes as their parents. For her part, Meghan recounted the first time that she met William and Kate and said that she was surprised by how formal they were, even behind closed doors. "I guess I'd start to understand very quickly that the formality on the outside carried through on the inside." In comparison, Meghan said that the first time she met the couple, she wore ripped jeans and was barefoot when they came over for dinner. She said, "I was a hugger. I've always been a hugger. I didn't realize that is really jarring to a lot of Brits," which seemed like an obvious attempt to make the pair out to be cold, even towards their own family. Number 7, changing their story. Something that doesn't sit right with fans is that Harry and Meghan seem to have changed their story on more than one occasion. 5 years ago, the Sussexes told the world that they met via a friend who set them up on a blind date. They revealed this in an interview with the BBC, which was organized for the announcement of their engagement. Harry said, "We first met, we were introduced actually by a mutual friend," before being interrupted by Meghan, who said, "We should protect her privacy." And then Harry says, it was through her. But now the couple have told Netflix that the interview was completely rehearsed and more like an orchestrated reality TV show. What they're now saying is that they actually met on Instagram when Harry spotted Meghan in a mutual friend's feed. So that did a complete 180 on their story. It does sound more realistic now, but it's weird that they casually just admitted to lying about how they met. Meghan and I met over Instagram. I was scrolling through my feed and someone who was a friend had a video of them. It was like a Snapchat. It was dog ears. Not only that, but they previously claimed that Harry proposed during a normal night where the two were roasting chicken, but they now have revealed that the proposal actually took place during an evening picnic in the garden. All things considered, it's a little strange that they managed to come up with two different stories and admitted that interviews they've given before were totally fake. Number 6, disrespecting the Queen. While Netflix producers put a disclaimer in the beginning of the documentary explaining that all the interviews were filmed before the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, that wasn't enough to quell the backlash that came from one specific mention of Her Majesty in the second episode. In a video clip that had gone viral on social media, Meghan was seen laughing uncontrollably as she described how Harry introduced her to the Queen. She said, "It was like that, like I curtsied as though I was like, 'Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty,' like, was that okay?" She pauses to curtsy dramatically, but she's sitting down so she almost falls off of the couch. But next to her, judging from his body language and facial expressions, it seems as though Harry did not like the idea of his wife mocking his family traditions and cultural beliefs. Meghan was obviously joking, but not everyone was happy with that delivery. The editor of Elle American, Ben Q, retweeted the clip and wrote, "Meghan Markle mocking the late Queen, but don't forget she still wants her title as the Duchess of Sussex." And in a separate post, journalist Benjamin Butterworth said, "This is just nasty and unbecoming. Meghan looks like a school bully." Social campaigner Anna McGovern wrote, "Harry said that having to explain to Meghan Markle that she would have to bow to his grandmother was weird. Exactly 2 months after the Queen died, they slandered the royal family and reaped the monetary rewards. This is a pathetic performance that we all see through." Number 5, misleading footage. Netflix has already been criticized for using footage that is completely unrelated to the couple, all to try and paint a very specific picture of them struggling to escape media attention. They used footage of Katie Price during her court appearance, clips from a Harry Potter film premiere, and even a video of Donald Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen being chased by photographers. For a bit of damage control, representatives of the couple have come forward now to defend the use of stock images and videos throughout the series, calling it standard practice in documentary and trailer production. While obviously a Netflix series is going to be somewhat sensationalized, it seems as though producers have taken an extra step to make it seem like the couple are constantly being hounded by paparazzi. Number 4, no royal lessons. During the documentary, Meghan brought up the 2001 film The Princess Diaries while talking about learning royal protocol in the early stages of her relationship with Harry. And according to the Duchess, she did not get the same training that Mia received from her grandmother, the Queen of Genovia. Quote, "There's no class where some person goes, sit like this, cross your legs like this, use this fork, don't do this, curtsy then, wear this kind of hat. It doesn't happen. So I needed to learn a lot, including the national anthem. It was baptism by fire." But rather than consulting one of Harry's family members, Meghan insisted that she simply Googled the national anthem and practiced waving etiquette all on her own. Harry also pointed out that the press had a lot of invented protocols that she had to adjust to, in addition to the royal standards. She complained that she was left floundering with no instructions, struggled with what to wear, and was forced to learn a lot on her own. Harry said that the lack of support was just ridiculous. But royal sources have since come out claiming that this was a total lie, and that Meghan met with 2 royal experts, the late Queen's private secretary Lord Gates, and a well-connected person for wardrobe advice. But regardless of whether or not she had any help, clearly there would have been a lot of royal etiquette for her to learn. So to be fair, that couldn't have been easy no matter which way you look at it. Number 3, using the Princess Diana interview. The docuseries controversially used footage from Diana's Panorama interview, which Prince William has criticized when a review found that the journalist Martin Bashir tricked Diana into agreeing to it, relying on documents that he forged to claim that the palace was following her. William said that the interview should never have aired again, but the documentary aired a clip and Harry said that his mother had spoken the truth in that interview. It's perhaps not a surprise given the Diana and Meghan comparisons that have been made by many from day one of the couple's relationship, but Harry revealed that he too sees a lot of his mother in his wife. He said, "So much of what Meghan is and how she is so similar to my mum. She has the same compassion, the same empathy, she has the same confidence, she has this warmth about her. Harry also spoke of the driving motivation to protect her from the same fate of his mother, who tragically died in a car crash in Paris after she was chased by paparazzi. Although this comparison seemed relatively inconsequential and even heartwarming, many found it to be one of the most disrespectful parts of the documentary. Piers Morgan tweeted, "By far the most sickening part of this show for me was the constant use of Harry's late mother, Princess Diana, to stoke sympathy for Meghan. Having known both women, I can say with absolute certainty they have nothing in common whatsoever." So clearly, that didn't sit well with everyone. Number 2, attacking royal reporters. Prince Harry has long criticized the system of the Royal Rota, whereby journalists given accreditation by the palace are the official royal correspondents for major British news outlets. But the documentary saw him make a profound accusation. He described the Royal Rota as essentially an extended public relations arm of the royal family, and suggested that the family had been involved in the leaking and planting of stories against the couple. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have accused the media of destroying them before they left the UK, and at one point, Harry said, "Being part of this family, it is my duty to uncover this exploitation and bribery that happens within our media." Then Meghan can be heard saying, "Unfortunately, in us standing up for something, they are destroying us." She claims that she was stalked by the press in Toronto when she was filming Suits and had salacious stories planted about her. Quote, "Truth be told, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how good I was, no matter what I did, they were still going to find a way to destroy me." Harry said, "All royal news goes through the filter of all newspapers within the Royal Rota, most of which, apart from the Telegraph, happen to be tabloids. It all comes down to control. It's like, this family is ours to exploit, their trauma is our story and our narrative to control." There's no doubt that Meghan and Harry have had to deal with invasive paparazzi and unflattering headlines throughout their relationship, but the suggestion that Buckingham Palace is somehow behind every single piece of tabloid fodder out there is quite ridiculous. And coming in at number 1, bias in the family. Most controversially, Harry claimed that the Windsors had what he called an unconscious bias, and they questioned why Meghan should be protected from racist headlines and stalking by paparazzi after news of their relationship broke in 2016. Apparently, the only advice they got from the palace about this was don't say anything. Harry said, "So it was almost like a rite of passage, and some of the members of the royal family were like, my wife had to go through that, so why should your girlfriend be treated any differently? Why should you get special treatment? Why should she be protected?" To which he said, "The difference here is the race element." At this point, images of newspaper headlines flashed on the screen, which included things like, "Harry's girl is almost straight out of Compton." Another one said that Meghan's ancestors were a tailor, a teacher, and a cleaner in racially divided Jim Crow South. The documentary also showed images of Princess Michael of Kent wearing a Blackamoor-style brooch to a Christmas lunch that Meghan went to in 2017. Then it cut to Harry saying, "In this family, sometimes you are a part of the problem rather than part of the solution." Now, he does not disclose which members of the family suggested that Meghan had no right over anyone else to receive special protection, but he maintains that racism was constantly at play in the press attention that she received early on in their courtship. Well, that's everything that we have on the list for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.